Welcome, my name is Francesca Ferrando and I'm going to offer a talk on the spiritual politics of the posthuman. This talk is divided in 3 parts. In the first part, I will offer an introduction to the topic of posthumanism and spirituality. In the second part, I will highlight ancient spiritual traditions, which are in tune with the posthuman approach. In the third and last part, I will emphasize contemporary spiritual trends, which share relevant points in common with the posthuman turn. Let's start by quoting a passage from the Bhagavad Gita. Be free from all dualities. Humans have always been posthuman. To make my argument, I will delve into the significance of spirituality, a genealogical source of the posthuman which has not been fully acknowledged in the contemporary field of posthuman studies. Spirituality, in its all-encompassing signification, corresponds to the core meaning of the posthuman, post-dualistic perspective. I will trace such a correspondence through different traditions, mapping a spiritual genealogy of the posthuman. Spirituality refers to the human tendency to conceive existence more extensively than the individual perception. Existence, in a spiritual sense, contemplates a non-separation between the inner and the outer worlds. It is a connectedness between the self and the others. Within the spiritual realm, there is no division based on caste, color, creed, gender, age, nationality, religion, or species. The etymology of the term speaks for itself. Spirituality comes from the Latin word spiritus, meaning soul, vigor, breath, in relation to the verb spirare, to breathe. The term spirit refers to the animating or vital principle, common both to human as well as to non-human entities. But of course, there is no purity. Everything is a hybrid. Once I started to delve into different spiritual traditions, I saw the effects of the human and humanistic paradigms in the ways spirituality has been historically addressed. Many spiritual traditions still hold sexist, ethnocentric, and anthropocentric practices. For instance, rituals based on animal sacrifice are sustained on the anthropocentric assumption that human animals can take the life of non-human animals for divine purposes. Here, I shall note that spiritual traditions should not be assimilated to the history of the religions enacting them. Religion and spirituality are not synonyms. And still, such contradictions inhabit the historical outcomes of the spiritual domain. How should we deal with this controversial aspect in mapping a spiritual genealogy of the posthuman? My methodology has been inclusive rather than exclusive. In tune with the comprehensive terms of philosophical posthumanism, I have highlighted relations and points in common, instead of emphasizing why each specific tradition may not be fully representative. Following the methodological choice of bridging, I also wish to underline that although the posthuman scenario is composite, both posthumanism and transhumanism radically open to alterity and extensions of diversity, reflecting on alternative embodiments and tapping into a perception of the human which is ultimately transhistorical. The hybrid has been part of the human symbolic and cultural heritage since the very beginning of civilization. Think of the lion-headed figurine of the Holstein-Städel, the oldest known zoomorphic sculpture in the world. Think of Ganesha, the Hindu deity merging human and elephant features. Think of the Egyptian Sphinx, the body of a lion, the head of a human. The chimera, the masculine minotaur, and the feminine harpy are some more characters of the very fecund mythological parade. Altered state of consciousness form part of shamanic practices, aim to achieve spiritual elaboration of the self through a mediated perception of the physical body. This is the end of part 1. Let's now see how philosophical posthumanism relates to Hinduism and Buddhism.